And he is the one who actually hired me to the business side to become a product manager. So thank you, Gary, for making me who I am right now. Anyway, so as I mentioned that I'm a techie guy. So a lot of times as a product manager, what I do is I look at the data. Right? I'm sure there are two different types of product managers. One who go with a gut feeling. I feel right. I feel this is the way. I feel this button needs to be blue. I feel this font needs to be size 40, right? And go with it. I'm sure many of them are successful. Maybe Steve Jobs is really the case. The biggest product manager who go with a gut feeling. I'm not Steve Jobs. As you can see, I'm a Korean guy, you know, who look like Psy, right? So I'm not kind of gut feeling creative genius guy as a product manager. So what do I have to rely on? I have to rely on data. If the data tells me that this is what people are reacting, then I go with it. But since I don't have a lot of data constantly coming to me, I have to go and search for a lot of data. Is the user using this? Not using it? If not, can I try different thing? If they're using it, oh, maybe this is the way I should go. So I'm constantly looking for data. And that's exactly how I'm going to approach the mobile payments in developed markets. So, Howard talked about many players in the developed market ecosystems of mobile payments. All right, so let's see it. I'm sure there are about 100 companies here. I think the banks are there. Actually, noticeably, Citibank is not in this chart, but you know. Anyway, so who's responsible for payment? Anyone wants to guess? Many players. Yes. At the end, who was going to actually decide to adopt? Consumers. I mean, when I look at this chart, what this chart tells me is that it is confusing. Right? When it's confusing, it means that no one is responsible. And as consumer, when I ask my wife what does it mean by NFC, do you know what she guessed? She, zero idea. What does NFC mean? Right? I don't know what it means. But when consumers don't understand what it means, how can they accept and adopt? They don't know. They don't see it. Credit card swiping, they see it, they experience it, and they value it. NFC, well, you could say it's a tap and pay, but still, it's very hard for them to accept because the terminology is called NFC, and what they actually see it as a payment behavior is two different things, right? So, this is actually my observation. Again, I may be in trouble by saying this, but you know, I'm confused. I'm confused who's going to be on the So as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to approach this in more academic way, right? And sort of maybe just give my personal opinions to see what's going to happen in the mobile payments in the developed markets. Harvard Business Review, 2013, by Larry Downs and Paul Nunes, has published a paper called Big Bang Disruption Theory. Has anyone heard about this? Big Bang Disruption Theory? No? Okay, that's good. So I can say whatever I want to say. Okay. So, Big Bang Disruption Theory. Anybody recognize this? Who used to buy these books for your boat trip? Yeah. You know, I'm a second, 1.5 generation immigration child. So my parents, they came about 20 years ago to the US. And when they came, the first place they wanted to go was Niagara Falls, right? Because when we heard about US, they said Niagara Falls and Empire State Building, right? So I used to live in Virginia, so I used to drive all over places. Niagara Falls, we made an annual trip. And you know what my dad did? He bought this book, studied the map, he said, let's go there. It took 8, 9 hours. We got lost several times, but still we got there. Map was very important. That didn't exist in South Korea. So for me, to see this map was revolutionary. Wow, there's a guy that I could rely on. And a few years later, what happened? Real-time navigation device. Wow, that was pretty superb, right? Has anyone didn't buy this navigation device for your car? Oh, you never used it? Wow, great souls. All right. Anyway, so this was revolutionary. When this one was introduced, I had to buy it. I was like, wow. You know, for my, well, I'm usually good at math, so I can like, find my way out. But my wife, she's clueless. She gets lost on the way to her daughter's school, right? So she had to buy it, and so I bought it at $225 at Best Buy, and that kept us going for 5 years. And then recently, what happened? Google Map came. It was free. Everybody had to use it. So what did we do? We dumped the navigation device and we switched to Google Maps right away. That was pretty disruptive, right? So Big Bang disruption theory is really going opposite of what you usually see as a diffusion innovation adoption theory. So what they said is actually it's gonna have a very small population of trial users, and then bang, it's gonna happen. So let's take a look at what are the sort of the characteristics of the Big Bang theory. Number one, no usual suspect. They said that Big Bang is gonna happen not from the usual suspect. The one that you know, the one that you're already in the industry, is not gonna be there. Second, users will switch in weeks, not months, because they see this as truly disruptive and makes sense for them. Simultaneous defection, rather than actually low-end, unbanked people to the high-end, ultra-network people, it doesn't matter. Everybody will simultaneously go to these new solutions. It's not going to follow the rule that is already set in the industry. When the disruption happened, it's going to change the rule. That's what we saw. Google Maps came, and then there was no revenue whatsoever from navigation devices. But what they are doing, so they are monetizing the data. So different revenue sources, it changed the game. Once launched, it's hard to follow because the consumer already got this. It's hard to follow. So, and then a lot of times that disruption will trigger disasters to the existing industry players. At least that's what the paper, I mean, that's what this, the Harvard Business Review says. This is actually what I see. So once the Big Bang happens, and then it will be followed by ecosystem adoption. So one Big Bang happened, and everybody started to follow to basically that directions, and they try to make their solutions adapted to that particular Big Bang, right? We saw on Facebook, we saw on Google Maps. Google Maps came out, Foursquare is trying to use it, Zagad is using it, everything is now based on the map. Right? That's what we're going to see. So what the paper says, there's almost no time to adapt to Big Bang disruptions. Both strategies are the only way to cope. And maybe many of the companies, they say that's what they said. For 15 years of gathering of data for technology disruptions, they said that those who don't adapt is going to become one who's going to be a victim of the disaster. So I certainly believe the mobile payment has a potential to change all of our lives. Like the way that when I first came to US, right? And I saw the map, I think there was a like saving grace for me to be able to find my way. I was at the age of 19, and then my dad gave me a driver's seat for me to drive to Niagara Falls. I didn't know what else that I could do except depending on the map. So mobile payment certainly will happen, and it will happen in disruptions. It will happen in Big Bang theory. Who's going to become winner? I don't know. But I hope that certainly somebody in this room, or maybe someone else outside of this room, could actually make that happen. Because I'm definitely hoping that will change our lifestyle as a consumer. Let me just close it with this particular comment, which I love. Many people, I think, in this room, I think there are some skeptics here as well, to say that, mobile payment is not really happening, NFC is not really happening, nobody's really thinking that it's going to really change our lifestyle. Well, maybe true, but I definitely have this quote in my mind. Some men see things as they are and say, why? Why is that happening? I dream of things that never work and say, why not? Why not? Why not? Maybe it's not you, maybe it's not me, maybe someone else that you see in the garage of MIT, maybe it's somebody in this floor in the Columbia Business School. They are maybe thinking about something that is actually truly different in the mobile payment. And I guarantee that they're probably not thinking about mobile payment. They're thinking about something cool. It may actually affect the mobile payment too. Right? Who knows? So I'm hopeful, and I wish that mobile payment will arrive in the developed markets. And when that happens, I'm going to change my strategy and follow it. Thank you.